Hello everybody and welcome to the Human Echoes recap for Z Nation Season 4 Episode 3, The Vanishing. And let's just get this right out of the way. At the beginning here, you rip it off like a band-aid. I dislike this episode. Pretty strongly. If you're looking around on the internet for like someone else to jump up and down with you about how great this episode was, you can just click that thumbs down button and call me a hater and move on to the next recap. I'm sure they're all excited about it. This was, I'm gonna say, from where I'm sitting right now, okay, with it very fresh in my mind, so take that into account, but this is maybe my least favorite episode of Z Nation ever. Alright? I liked it less than the election episode from last year. I liked it less than the one where they were on the trucks and they were trying to do like a Mad Max thing, but it was just like nothing happened. I liked it less than that by a lot at this point. That one actually has grown on me over the years. And here's my problem with this. There are many, many missteps in this episode, chiefly among them being that nothing happens. Okay, like, this is an entire episode where people are just standing around and waiting. That's, like, the meat of the episode. And the things that aren't just standing around and waiting are, for the most part, really badly handled. All right, let's start off with, we got 10K, right? He's off. He's looking for Red. Which is a little bit of a flashback to him. He finds his tent. It's all trashed. Of course it is, right? And then he has a flashback to the flashback from the previous episode that was already shown, establishing things that we already know and not giving us any new information. Like, we know that 5K is dead. And maybe if 5K was going to show up in this episode, that would have been interesting, like, information to give us, right? That, oh, they thought he was dead, but now he's not, okay? He's been you hear him listening for the cause of the crows at some point. You think maybe he's coming back, but he's not coming back. So what was the point of establishing that he's still dead? He's still dead by the end of the episode, too. The whole episode is called The Vanishing, but nobody vanishes, really. The one, like, lieutenant is disappeared from the forest at one point, but then she shows back up, so even that's not really a vanishing. Everybody vanished in the previous episode. I was wondering what made him vanish. In the episode The Vanishing, you'd think maybe you'd find out. Why did they vanish? But we don't. We just sit around in camp for an entire 44 minutes of television, not figuring it out. We figure out that Sun Mei was there and that she's gone now. Guess what? We already knew that from the previous episode. Here's some other things that I didn't like. All right, there's the reunion, and I'm going to put air quotes around that. Reunion between Murphy and Lucy. And they're trying to do something interesting here. All right, I respect what they're going for with this moment where Murphy is trying to connect with Lucy, right? He says, hey, kiddo, I haven't seen you in a while. And she rebuffs him like she's a typical, he's a bad dad. Okay, Murphy's just a bad father. And also, he's weirdly out of character, as he has been this whole season. Like, he's had this huge arc getting up to Murphy, the Savior King, in season 3, and now they're just sort of making him useless and pointless. Like, what point does Murphy even serve in the plot anymore? He's not interesting. He's not vital. There's nothing special that he can do. He tells Lucy that he's cured, and she's mad at that because she's still blue and she's cool with it. She's, mutant and proud or whatever. And the biggest problem with this scene for me is that they try to establish these emotional stakes, right? They're trying to show like a tragedy of Murphy being ignored, rejected by his daughter. But the thing is, in 3 and now going on 4 seasons of television, these two have been on screen together as, like, adults, right? For a total of maybe 5 minutes. Okay? Season finale, right? With her and the man like having a showdown with Murphy as everybody busts in and come and try to save her. That's the entire extent of her face-to-face reaction with her father. She has no connection with this dude. And so they're trying to show this like heartbreaking breakdown of parent and child relationships here, but that relationship never existed in the first place. Murphy has feelings for Lucy. They have some kind of weird psychic bond, maybe. I mean, he has general, like, I want my kid to be okay feelings going on, but even he has to hand-wave the ridiculous 2-year gap where he's just like, yeah, I thought you were dead. Sorry. My bad. The writers thought it would be a good idea to skip forward 2 years and not actually do anything. It makes me frustrated a little bit. Everybody gets back together. Doc, Murphy, Warren, the 10K finally gets back. Although they're waiting for him for a lot of the episode. And Henry Rollins is like, listen, we should go. He says to Doc, there's safety in Numerica. You say this kid's super resourceful? Great. Let him be super resourceful and let's us get out of here. But no, the dictates of the writing say they have to wait. So they sit around for a while. Henry Rollins goes out on patrol after a bit. I assume because he's just sick of waiting. He's like, all right, fine. If you are not going to move with without this 10K guy, and I don't want to lose any more people, because I've seen everybody disappear. Again, established in the previous episode that everybody disappeared, but yeah, again, everybody's disappeared. I guess I'll go out and look for 10K. Meet up with Unkillable Zombie, which, by the way, another thing that we established in the previous episode, and we're establishing it again here. Why do we need to keep just hitting these same nails over the head? There's so little happened in this episode. It was waiting around. It was reestablishing facts that we already know from previous episodes. The only good thing in this episode was Henry Rollins getting killed. And it's Henry Rollins getting killed, which means, like, that's kind of gotta go in the negative ledger too, because I liked Henry Rollins. I wanted to keep him around. I thought maybe he could be, like a regular member of the team. I don't know what his schedule's like. I'm sure he's busy, but I thought maybe they could have him around for more than 3 episodes. I'm disappointed to see him go. So that, again, there's still another negative check mark for this episode, but at least his death scene was kind of cool and interesting. The one Z-Nation-y thing about this episode, and it was pretty weak, but was the idea of showing how dangerous these unkillable zombies are. Because it takes like 6 of these guys to finally bring Henry Rollins down, and one person with a machine gun that has a shotgun attached to the bottom of it. That's a pretty formidable force. If you get a bunch of those in the zombie apocalypse, they're going to be nigh unkillable. Like, it's over. If there are these unkillable headshot zombies that don't die when you give them a headshot, you're screwed. Where does this particular strain of the virus come from? How easy is it to spread? We don't know. The original soldier who died in the previous episode is, I guess, still out there, and he bit Henry Rollins, so he could go around and bite more people. But this seems kind of OP. Warren has more visions. Again, kind of treading over the same ground we've tread on. And to make even everything, the icing on the badness of the cake, right, is the end of this episode. Henry Rollins is dead. The gang's back together because, yay. And Warren is going east. And everybody kind of breaks off to go with her, which I understand, all right? She's Warren. She's the leader. Although, another negative tally here is Warren, spaced out Warren, is, not the Warren that I want. I want on point, planned, mad at people Warren. She kind of got nerfed from her character from the previous season too. She's just like, I will go east now. I must go east. Like, get upset about something, Warren. I know she feels like she's practically walking around in a daze, but everybody's going to follow her because she's the leader. She heads towards the east. It makes sense that everybody goes with her except for Lieutenant Lily. All right, and I don't want to be misunderstood here. I like Lieutenant Lily. I'm glad Lieutenant Lily is going to be in the show for a little bit longer. Cool character. But what is her motivation for going with them? Why would she turn around and leave Numerica, the dream that she's been looking for this whole time, the dream that her father figure, or maybe literally her father, I couldn't tell, died for, and she killed him for, that dream that he was in pursuit of at the time of his death. She's just going to turn her back on it and be like, well, this kind of spaced out chick, she's headed east, and all these people are headed east, so yeah, why not? That seems like a good place for me to go too. There's just so many failures of writing in this episode, and it's the writing, 100%. Like the changes that they made to these characters, the lack of plot progression, that none of that is on the actors, or some of this is I'll blame a little bit on, like, it's just not visually interesting. I'll give some dings to the camera department too, but really they don't have a lot to be interesting with. They just have to sit around this camp for the whole episode. There's no progression. There's no reason for 10K to be gone because he doesn't learn anything. He just comes back and he's like, well, didn't find her. I get that you want him to have gone off and looked, okay? It wouldn't make sense for his character to just abandon Red. But to bring the entire show to a stagnant stalemate for 42 minutes and have essentially nothing happen is a waste. If the show is going to continue being like this, I don't have to do these recaps. I do them because I, in the past, have really enjoyed it. All right, and I expect you guys to enjoy it. All right, and I want to have that fun time with you guys coming in here and saying, oh, did you see that? That was awesome. I'm like, yeah, what about this? And having some theories and stuff. And if they are going to spin their wheels and squander the really cool thing that they have in this premise and in this cool, crazy world, then I won't do the recap anymore. Because I want to celebrate this show. And I can't. I can't with episodes like this. So those are my thoughts. I hope that you got something out of this. I was going to say that you liked it, but I didn't like making it, so I you know what? Speaking of making this episode, this recap, having tried to do some headshot wound here, I will say that I was very impressed with the special effects on Henry Rollins' half head gone headshot. Little pro tip for you guys. I tried to do some green screen, like I have green makeup, and try to put it on my head and make it look like part of it was missing. And in the time allotted to me, that did not work out. Fun idea. Love to see if someone else has figured out how to do that a little bit better, but problems galore. So the effects continue to be cool when they do them. I'm looking forward to seeing whatever this monster is. But they need to do better. They need to do better. So, I hope that I will see you guys next week. If I don't, it's because I gave up. I got this, I will give up. I've got other things I could do with my time and my life and my Saturday mornings than painting my face for a show that does not care about making a cool experience. And if they continue on this path, if I'm super disappointed by next episode and you don't see a recap come up next week, you'll know why. Maybe I'll start doing Ghost Wars. That show's on point, by the way. Everybody not watching Ghost Wars, go check that out because first 2 episodes anyway, really digging it. Great atmosphere. Some good stuff coming up on Sci-Fi. I love those guys. Z Nation lately has been a little bit weak. And this is like more than a little bit weak. This was just disappointing. So, yeah. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys thought. Again, I hope that you got something out of this video. Liking it might be a strong word, but let me know if you're disappointed too. Maybe I'm way off base here. Maybe everybody loved this episode, and that's cool. If I'm way off in left field and the fan base is digging it, and it just loses me, then that's no big deal. So let me know what you guys thought, and I'll see you guys some other time with some other thing. Maybe another episode of the Z Nation Recap. Take care, y'all.